All right. This is our out of sync mid-December product update webinar, since we thought nobody, including the Pressbooks team, wanted to come to our product update on Christmas Day. So thank you for making time for it today, earlier in the month. We are going to give an update on the content toolkit, and we'll kind of give a status of where those tools are. Also, a quick update on Pressbooks results. We have our end of term usage stats, and so it's fun to share that. And then we've got a handful of smaller updates that we'll talk about. We've got some fun and interesting things coming soon. That we'll walk through, and hopefully we will have time for a real community roundtable. So if you have questions that you'd like to put out for the community, if you have fun projects or milestones you'd like to share, be thinking about that, and we will make sure we have time for that. As you hopefully know from looking at emails or potentially being on prior product update calls or watching recordings, we have introduced the Pressbooks Content Toolkit. And so it is a set of add-on tools that make it easier for authors to ensure their content is ready to publish. And so I just realized I copied over this slide, and the plan for release is not quite true for the scanner tool. But we've also done some name simplification of those. And so the names that you see here are the names that we're going to be using going forward. So we have two accessibility tools that we're calling that Accessibility Assist. It's powered by Editorially. That's the underlying technology. The author tool is now available. Many of you are using that, and it brings that editorially powered widget into the authoring experience to flag and make suggestions about accessibility issues as you go. We have a scanner tool that is under development, and we hope to be, well, I'll talk a little bit about it in a minute. And then we have the link checker that is a pilot in progress. These three tools are being offered as add-on tools, meaning there is an extra charge. We do incur additional costs to develop and support and maintain them. We also know we have a highly budget-sensitive customer community, so we are trying to make these as affordable as possible, but not using them to increase the cost for everybody when we know there are institutions that either don't need them or are investing in other tools or just don't have the ability or the desire to pay. And so we're doing it this way so that if you see the value, we hope that we're making it affordable and you can add that to your network. And if you want to add these, but the mid-year invoicing is a pain, we can certainly prorate that and add it to the cost upon your renewal so that you can get the value out of these things now. Author tool is that accessibility checker that is built into the authoring experience as people are building or editing their pages. So as you're going page by page, it will scan and share accessibility suggestions if it identifies a need there. We have the pricing. We have communicated about that, and a lot of folks have already implemented that, or they've tried it out and said, you know what, it's fine, but we're making a decision about whether it's something that they want to include going forward. We've been making some improvements to that and are continuing to gather feedback on that one. This is what it looks like. There's an accessibility widget as somebody is authoring, and it creates a little flag. And when you click on the flag or roll over, it gives you the information and a suggestion about how to address it. So again, we've been getting some good feedback, and also we've also identified some usability issues of just like helping people get comfortable. There's a way to turn off the flags if they find those distracting. And so we've been improving our documentation and other things to make sure people can use them, use that effectively. If you want this tool and you don't have it right now, talk to your account manager, or you could send a note to premium support. And if you miss the free trial, but you want to try it out, again, check in with your account manager. We can activate it so that you can try it out and make a decision about if it's a good one for you. The scanner tool is sort of an add-on. It's something that you get if you want some extra, you can opt for it if you want not only the page-by-page scanning, but if you want to be able to do a background scan of existing book content. So this is something that enables you to kind of order up or request a background scan. It puts it into a queue and then notifies you when the scan is ready. And this always pairs with the author tool. So you can have the author tool without the scanner tool, but if you want the scanner tool, then the author tool comes with it. They're both powered by the same engine and right into the same reporting structure. We're working on pricing. It likely will be tied to the number of public books, but we want to do something that's sort of gives you unlimited ability to use this tool at an affordable price point. So we have the development. It's not quite ready for free trial, but we are looking at Christopher, optimistic that we will have it ready for free trial in January. Okay, Christopher says yes. Okay, we have a demo video of this one. Our dev who is point on this is actually on vacation this week, but he and Steele made a video, so we'll watch it. It's not very long.
We have a new tool and integration that helps people check their books for common accessibility issues. The way it works for most books is as you're editing your book, in the visual editor, you'll see editorial checks. And then when you preview the page or view a page as a logged in user, you'll see a list of all the accessibility issues on that book. So that's working as you go. But another really common task you may want to do is to scan your entire book. It may be a book you've already published or a book you've already finished, or you just want an overview, a report of all of the known accessibility issues in your book at a given time. Currently, you could do that manually by viewing each page of the book one after the other, but that's tedious. It takes a lot of time. So we're working on an automated scanner where you tell the tool, scan this book, and then it will perform that scan for you. And I'll pass it over to my colleague Dalcine, who demo a preview of how this will work in Pressbooks.
Afternoon, everyone. Hello, my name is Dalcine, and I'm here at a book dashboard, as a regular user would see. And we have this content readiness that I think some of you already seen. It has a link checker and the accessibility checker. And that has the editorially tool that has currently no issues identified here for the given book. So I'm going to hit this page, which is the accessibility checker. It has a couple of information here. This page might be updated in the future with additional information or more clear information. And we have here a check accessibility report. Once I hit this button, it's going to dispatch a service that is going to start processing the accessibility. This is going to take a while. We can leave this page if we want, but I'm going just to wait here for a while for the demo purposes. Okay, so now the to completed reporting, we see here, again, this message might be tweaked a little bit in the future, but we see that report was generated on this date. And for now, the way that we see the report, we go back to the editorially and sure thing, we are going to see a bunch of issues that were detected by accessibility here. And we can go by page, for example, we can see that it has 35 issues in the glossary, 9 issues in the University of Arizona, is history, people, and mission. So we can go by all of those and process the report as you go and fix those issues. And then later run a second accessibility scan for automated accessibility scan so you can check again to see if those issues were fixed or not.
Thanks, Dalcine. So that's what it would look like if you're an author at the book level running the scan. If you're a network manager, we will also want to give you some insight into which scans have been performed on your network and when. And so this is still in progress as well, but there's going to be, what Dalcine is showing here now is, this is the accessibility checker usage table. Network managers will be able to see a list of all the scans that have been performed. In this list, you see the book, you see the user, the time of request, when the request started, and then when the request ended. So this was the request we just ran. It took less than a minute for that request to complete. And if you wanted to see the status of that, if you click the link to the book, it will take you again directly to that dashboard that Dalcine was showing. So that's pretty exciting. That's a work in progress. We're planning to do some beta testing with initial users on this soon. And we hope you're excited for it and happy to take questions.
All right. Any questions? We sort of have two Steels. There's the video Steel, and then there's the Santa hat Steel today.
Yeah, Sid asked, wasn't the report already available? Yes, Sid. So what the scan tool does is right now the report gets generated when you view pages as a logged in user. And so if you wanted to get a full report for your book, you'd have to systematically view every page in your book. If you've already published a book, you can click a button and it will scan all the pages and update your report instantly for you. So we anticipate this being used, I think, by two audiences. One would be network managers that might want to scan 5 books and not have to click through every page of those books, or an author that's like, okay, tell me how, instead of having to open and edit each page and look at them one by one, I just want to see an overall scan, update my book status. And so the scanning tool will help you refresh and update that list without having to visit pages manually. Exactly. Amy says, I'm very eager to be able to do this without turning every page. That's precisely the use case that we hope to solve.
Yes, and so um the tool so Linda, to your question, the tools are priced separately. But if you want the scanning tool, you need the authoring tool. They're both kind of underlying. We can't separate the scanning tool from the authoring tool. The scanning tool, we have to build an extra kind of infrastructure and tool set to manage that scan and to go behind the scenes. The technology is opening every page and scanning every page so that you don't have to. And so we're building that additional piece. Yeah, so you can get the authoring tool without the scanning tool, or you can get them both together. What we can't do is the scanning tool only. We can't deactivate the authoring tool and only give you the scanning tool. And we were concerned about, because of the kind of managing server traffic, like you can imagine if you request 100 scans all at once, you're going to have a server hitting your books, for every page on every book all at the same time. And that would probably slow down, not probably, that would slow down the traffic on your server, whether, not just for this, but for everybody. And so we are going to be building into this basically some common sense scan limits that will not limit the overall number of scans that you have, but will allow us to sort of have common sense limits so that people are not inadvertently crashing the server because they're trying to scan too much stuff all at once in a way that the server can't handle. So we'll have more details about that. We're still ironing out the specifics, but we want to be able to offer this in a way where there's no total scan limit, but we might say, X number per network, X number of scans per day, so that we're protecting you and protecting our servers from stuff that could overwhelm them. The link checker, it also is a background scan tool. It scans in the background, checks all of the links in a book, and sends a report about where the links are broken or throw errors. We're not going to watch this video together. We shared it, I think, last time we went through and did a demo. But actually, Steele, could you share the link to these slides so that people have access to it? The pricing structure, because this is also background scan, we're going to be using a similar model to the other scanning tool. We have a limited pilot in progress, and actually we just made the decision we want to get more usage of this to help us understand more about when we have a lot of different institutions requesting these scans, how is it hitting our servers and infrastructure? Initially, we said you get 20 free scans, and for our pilot partners, you'll get a message later today saying, hey, we're bumping it up to unlimited, and how that will work. So if anybody isn't doing this, but they would like to, we expect to go through mid-January. Let us know, send your account manager or support or me a message, and we will get this activated on your network. We also are doing user research, so if it's been activated, if you haven't sent your feedback, we'll be reaching out, or feel free to proactively send us your feedback. So, okay, any more questions on those content tools? We also are doing some refinements to the user experience on all of these. That's one of the things the pilot and free trials have been helping us with. And so as we come into January and are able to incorporate some of those improvements, there will be more usability improvements compared to the initial stuff coming out the gate. Okay, Pressbooks results. So hopefully everybody knows this is our H5P learning management system grade passback. That for graded H5P activities, it passes grades automatically into the grade book. And one of the things we're excited about is looking at the way that usage has grown over this year. So this is something that we piloted last fall. It went well, and so we felt comfortable moving it into general release last January. And so we had a good participation in January coming through that. And then we were excited to see even stronger adoption and participation with folks who tried it out and were willing to do more with it. And so I just want to call out, we had about a third more institutions that used it this fall. We nearly doubled the number of students. We had about 60% more instructors participating. We had over 100% more courses added and 44% more books. And so the folks that have been trying this are adding more courses and more sections and more faculty. So I share this and saying, if you've been on the fence and you've not been sure, give it a try. I will also say that the support tickets dropped dramatically. Like this is not this prior to our fall pilot, this was like our number one support thing, especially at the beginning of every term. And now it's very much not that way. It's very well supported. It's very stable. So a big push if you've been on the fence, now is a great time to jump in. We have a lot of great resources for whether it's for you or instructors that may be interested. So we have an information page. We have a lot of great videos. There's creating engaging learning materials, our monthly end user training session where we go through how to do this. And then often at the beginning of term, we will do some one-off sessions. Steele, are you going to do those again?
Well, what we wanted to recommend, actually, I would say to echo Julie's point, the biggest change that's been made with Pressbooks results from people that were using it a couple years ago have been the user experience improvements that just make it so much simpler if you're an instructor. So that second link, the video recordings, I would really recommend if any of your instructors are considering doing it, in less than 15 minutes, they can watch a targeted series of videos that show them from beginning to end how to use Pressbooks results in their LMS and in their course. They're welcome to come to one of our training sessions, which covers it in longer amounts of time and takes Q&A. It's a busy time of year for folks, so sometimes they just want to be like, show me the video how to do it. It's like a 5 minutes or less in Pressbooks, 5 minutes or less in the LMS, and then adjusting your configuration, and it's ready to go. The video recordings, there's usually 2 or 3 videos per LMS that are 3 to 5 minutes each. And that's the best. We've heard pretty positive feedback. The guide chapter is up to date for everything as well, if they prefer reading a guide to watching a video. And then, as Julie said, every month we offer this engaging learning materials session. We've already held the one for the month of December, so we won't have another training session before the holiday season. But each month we show people the general principles in depth, and that's what that session's about.
All right, other updates. Christopher, I think you're going to talk about this one.
Yes. Well, thanks, Julie. Hello, everyone. So some of our clients have gotten an email from Instructure mentioning that Canvas is going to be changing the way that they filter some of the inbound requests to their APIs that require a user agent header. And then they listed off a number of vendors that would be affected by this, that have to make changes to it, the way that they interact with Canvas. So some people came to us a little bit in a panic, asking if this would impact them. We have contacted Instructure, and we tested that in our infrastructure, in our testing infrastructure, using a beta environment of theirs that had all the filtering in place. And we can confirm that no, this will not impact Pressbooks results. It also doesn't impact any of the H5P usage in Pressbooks, even if you're doing it through Canvas. So there's some good news on that. If anyone was worried, the crisis averted, no problem there. improvements to the way that we collect our COCO data. So this doesn't impact the COCO data that you see when you go into the network analytics and look at it live, but there was a difference between the downloadable CSV and what you would seeing on the screen. So we did some optimizations. We suspected some kind of performance thing, and it turns out that actually made it worse. The problem that we had thought was the problem was indeed not the problem; it was something else. The good news is we resolved it. We retroactively fixed all of the data because it wasn't an issue in terms of collecting accurate data. It was that when we were taking that collected data and putting it into another sort of amalgamation, a collection of these things for the CSV, that there was an issue there in the way that it was done. So one thing to note, that if you have downloaded any CSVs that we're using with your data, you might want to fetch a new download of those CSVs, especially if it was in November. You'll get more accurate results. And by more accurate, I mean you will see more traffic than you might have seen when you were downloading it.
All right. So we apologize for that error, but are glad that we located it, and it was a pretty straightforward thing to be able to fix. So things are working now, and you can trust the data again now. Coming soon, Steele, I think you're going to talk about this.
Yeah, I've got my Santa hat on because we've got some presents that we'll be bringing to you. They might not make it till the coming year, but they're coming soon. The first one is probably the one I'm most excited about. So I do all the onboarding for new network managers. And one of the most common things that comes up is we onboard people into this demigod role. You're a network manager, you have all this stuff you can do on your network. We show them how to administer books, how to administer users, how to set network settings. And then the biggest question we get is, well, what about SSO? What about LTI? What about Pressbooks results? What about this new this accessibility assist thing, or the link checker, or there's a terms of service plugin. There's just all these optional things that they can configure and do at the enterprise level, and it's hard to keep track of them. Some network managers know about some of them, don't know about others. Some of them think that's just really scattered and kind of hard to see it all in one place. And so the idea is we want to give network managers a single location where they can see all of the optional integrations for their network, and they can manage and self-activate the ones that they want. So this we now have on a test network, and we're going to be actively recruiting network managers for some final user testing before we go live. I'll actually share my screen and do a live demo of what this looks like. This is the network integrations page. You would see it in your network dashboard under the integrations menu, and you'd find it, integrations, network integrations. It tells you at the top that you have several optional integrations, and if you have any questions, it gives you the contact information for your account manager. There's 3 sections: user management, LTI solutions, and content toolkit. The first one, user management, you can see the status of your single sign-on integration. In this case, it's telling me there's no price. I mean, it's included in my annual subscription, but it's not currently configured. So if I click this button, it will take me to the configuration page. And here, all I needed to do was add this value. I click Save Changes. In real life, it might be a little bit more complicated, but you'd follow the instructions and you do it correctly. And then when you come back, you'll say, oh, now it's configured. And if I want, I can view the settings and update them if I like. The next thing I might see is there's a Pressbooks Terms of Service plugin. If you activate this, it lets you set and enforce terms of service for your users before they can edit pages. That's also included in your annual subscription. Right now, it's not on. If I want to turn it on, I just click this Activate Plugin button, and it's been successfully activated from my network now. When users log in, they would see the terms of service and be required to accept them before they edit content. If I decide I don't want it, I can also click the Deactivate button. With the LTI tool, that's going to be on, and you can see the status of your LMS configurations. It will then display to you information about Pressbooks results. Some of you have Pressbooks results activated, some of you don't. It's up to you whether you activate it. If you want, then you can click this button and activate it just like you could with the Terms of Service plugin. So now I've activated Pressbooks results, and you can see that Pressbooks results is active. Once it's active, you'll be able to view the usage. So this will take you to the usage page for Pressbooks results, and you can see who and where and how LTI and Pressbooks results are being used on your network. And then last but not least, the really fun ones that are the newest ones, there's the accessibility assist, which we talked about today, and there's the link checker. With the accessibility assist, you can self-activate, and with broken link checker, because it's still in pilot, you would be requesting activation, and then we would activate it and get it configured for you. But in those cases, the behavior is the same. You click the button if you want to activate it, and then it's been activated, and then you could contact your account manager if you have questions or if you want to change the configuration or change anything about it. And the same thing's true here. If I were to click request activation, right now what will happen is it will tell you an activation request has been sent to your account manager. They'll follow up with you, and you'll see down here this button's grayed out, and it lets you know that activation has been requested, and it will stay grayed out until we go in on the back end and activate it and configure it for you. And then it will show just like the other options. So that's what we're planning. That's available for user testing. Michelle and I would love to get a handful of folks in there to give us feedback, let us know what they think about how this works, the usability, the usefulness of it. And then we expect that will be coming to a network near you in the new year. Amy, yeah. So for multiple if you're managing a shared network, instead of seeing the SAML SSO plugin, you'll see what's called OIDC SSO. So we have different single sign-on options, whether you're a single network or a shared network. You'll only see the one that's relevant to you. In this demo example, I showed the one that was relevant to a single network because that's the most common type of network. It'll be a small difference, but mostly cosmetic. Pressbooks results will be visible to either. This will only be shown to network managers, not institutional managers, because network managers are the ones who make decisions about the network. Yeah, so in your case, Jamie, that page would be visible to the OCO network managers. And you can let them know, hey, this new feature is coming. I really want you to activate this plugin for our network. Please do it. Or it just makes it easy. Because I think we have that conversation often. In some situations, the institutional managers are maybe a little bit more active and engaged than the network managers. And so they're feeling like they have to be go-betweens and, well, channel information up to the network manager who's confused by the menu or by the layout or don't get into Pressbooks quite as often. So hopefully that will simplify that and just make it easier across the board to see what's available, what its status is, and take direct action if you want to take that action.
And the other thing, so Jamie, one of the things that we've done, as you know, like if you're an institutional manager and you would like to have something activated, if a note from Pressbooks or an outreach from Pressbooks to your institutional manager can be helpful, like we've done with the link checker pilot, we're happy to do that. And so let us or let your account manager know. We're happy to facilitate those conversations and nudge from our end as you're nudging from your end as well.
A big less like obviously you probably all know that the support team and Mitch is here is very helpful and excels at getting things done quickly. But also many people don't love the exchange an email back and forth and get an email about this. Sometimes you just want to be able to do it yourself, and it's cut out the middle person. And if it's as simple as I want this, click the button and then it's working. Or how do I configure it? This link will take you right to the configuration page where the instructions are clear. So I'm really excited because I know it'll make onboarding a lot easier for me. And I'm excited for the network managers to be able to, what's next? Well, instead of me sending an email with, this is how you do SSO, this is how you do LTI. If you want this, now it's just go to this page and choose what you want, choose what you don't, And if you change your mind later, go to that page, choose what you want, choose what you don't. And hopefully that will be smoother and easier down the road. Going back to the screen share, should I do that or would you like to? I think at this point I don't need to share my more.
Then I will share mine.
The next thing's pretty exciting as well, and this has to do largely with accessibility compliance. So if we go to the next one, this is something that I think Amy Hoffer brought to our attention first a few months ago, but we all know that publishers publish books. And sometimes you'll publish a new version of a book and you'll want to keep the older version around because people are still accessing it or just for historical reasons or whatever, but you want to indicate in some way, this has been archived. We're no longer actively maintaining this. It's a public open license book, but it's not getting updates. In particular, the new accessibility compliance regulations that are coming into effect, the rule that's coming into effect next year in the United States says all digital content must be accessible, must conform to the WCAG guidelines. However, you can, unless it is clearly marked as archived and no longer in official use. So there are some of our authors that say, I don't want to have to take all this stuff off the web necessarily or make it unavailable. That would disrupt people. But I need to find, we're not actively maintaining it. I need some way to mark it as archived and not being updated. And so the solution that we're coming up with is going to be to add the ability for network managers to mark a book as archived. Network managers can mark the book as archived. And if they do, if you go to the next slide, this is kind of the interface here. In the book list, you have the ability to mark a book as public and to put it in your catalog, those two columns. There'll be a new check mark to the right that says whether it's archived or not. A book can be archived and can remain public. Or, I mean, I don't know, it doesn't really matter if you archive a private book. It's mainly public books that you'd be wanting to archive. There's also a bulk action that you see in the bottom left that would allow you to archive or unarchive books easily. So this is a network administrator task or a network manager task. If you go to the next slide, this is a mock-up of what it will look like on the book homepage. So the book homepage will have a clearly marked banner that says the book was archived by its publisher on date. It's no longer being updated. Simple, clear. If it has an open license, anyone who wants to can clone the book and can choose to update it. It won't be marked as archived for them, but the people who published it that want to indicate that it's not being updated can do so clearly. And if you go to the next page, you'll see what it looks like on the reading interface. If you visit individual chapters, the banner's just the same, essentially. So that's the feature that's coming. This is a pull request that's currently under review by our team and needs to go through final testing, and we do expect that it will probably be released soon. Amy says, thanks, this is going to be super useful. And Jamie says, this is awesome. You're problem solvers. Well, you're welcome. And thanks for helping make clear the use case and help us understand what people needed to do. No, Amy, it won't take it out of the directory necessarily. Right now, it doesn't remove it from things, but it will be clearly marked as archived. We could potentially add a tag to the directory that says archived. What would you want to have happen?
Right now, I'm gathering information about which books I'm going to mark archived. And while I'm doing that, I'm also going to settings at the same time and discouraging AI, discouraging web crawlers, and taking books out of the directory.
Okay.
So like if marking a book archived automatically updated those settings, I don't know if other people would want that change to automatically happen.
Yeah, we'd have to probably do a lot more talking with folks. I think I'm not sure we're going to have a clear consensus about what other things should take place when a book is archived, other than clearly indicating that it is archived and not being updated. But I would be interested to have that conversation with you and others in the future. Okay, we go on to the next one. I think people have heard about this, but the directory does not include the date a book was published right now. And we know that it should. So if you go to the next slide, currently there's a last updated, which is when someone made edits to the book at the last time. In the network catalog at the network level, we're now displaying a publication date. You can filter by publication date and you can sort by publication date. The same changes will be happening to the directory soon. We just have a couple of small things that we need to resolve first. Don't know exactly when that will be coming, but should be in the new year. And then last, but not least, we're also going to be improving multilingual support, and there's a couple of underlying translation changes that will be happening. We love that Pressbooks is an open source tool that's used by people all around the world. Many of those people are our clients and many are open source users, and we want to make sure that anyone who wants to publish and write books in their language can do so, and that the authoring interface and the administrative platform should support them in their language. We only know some languages, and so we can contribute translations in those, but we have global users that speak and use languages that we don't have proficiency in. And so for many years, we've used a translation platform called Transifex that allows anyone to submit translated strings for parts of the Pressbooks interface. It served us well for a long time, but we're moving to a new translation platform called Weblate, and that will be completed shortly. When that's done, that will change the location. You don't have to have coding skills to do this, you just have to have language skills. You'll be able to go to the Pressbooks Weblate interface and submit translations, not of books, but of strings or phrases that appear in the Pressbooks interface. So, for example, clone a book is something that shows up prominently when you log into Pressbooks. Well, if you're using it in German, it shouldn't say clone a book. It should say the German equivalent of clone a book. So we're moving to a new translation platform. The big plus of this translation platform is it will allow us to more easily translate our private repositories and some of the stuff that isn't part of the public GitHub world. Once that migration happens, we're going to be engaging, hiring professional translators to ensure that we get to 100% for French and Spanish. We're pretty close in both of those languages, and we think that those are the two most proximate ones, so that we have a lot of users that want to use Pressbooks in both French and Spanish, and we will hope to complete that in the coming year. Good. We have the bilingual users from Quebec saying they like Weblate. It's a great tool. Glad to hear it. We think so too.
All right, thank you. There also are a couple of questions about the book card update. So,
Yeah, okay, let me go back to that one. The first one
yeah,
said, is the
Amy, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so Amy, correct. Publication date needs to be entered into book info. So when you enter it into book info, that will display on the book and you can change it. And then Kate suggested it would be really nice to show last updated somewhere on the book homepage. That's a good point. It's true. That doesn't get displayed anywhere, and that's an interesting idea. I can jot that down and we could add that as a feature request. That'd be pretty simple and quick to add. No, Jamie, there really is no other way to find out when a book was published because the author has to decide when they published it. Now, in the Pressbooks admin interface, you can find out when a book was created, but when they actually click the go live or publish button, that sometimes is the publication date, and sometimes they want to go live with it and they consider the official publication date some other date. There's not a way to automatically determine. What we can do right now, books are private upon creation by default. We could set publication date to the date that someone clicks change it from private to public as the default value, but that may not be accurate, and the user would then need to change or update it to the correct date. But that's a minor thing that we could do that might help with that initial setting of a publication date, so that there's fewer books that have a null publication or an empty publication date. Great questions, and good
Yeah,
suggestions.
it strikes me we should investigate that further. One of the things that we are also working in parallel on is looking at metadata and how to make the Pressbooks metadata more, I guess, better aligned with other metadata standards that are out there. And there are standards that require a publication date. And so if we had something that could at least bring a default value, might help with some of that rather than just making a record completely ineligible because there is no publication date. We should do more homework and make sure that we're getting our librarian users involved in helping us make those choices. But that's good input. So. Okay, in the interest of time, I want to move us forward with a few things, but if you have other questions, we will keep an eye on chat. We have a few different user research initiatives in progress, and so want to just alert you to those. So we have the link checker. And again, we have the pilot, and if you are interested in being part of that or have been and have feedback, we want to hear it. We also have work on the network integrations admin page that Steele just showed. If you have ideas or feedback or liked what you saw but want to give Steele some feedback on it, he'd love to get a 30-minute slot with you, and the link is here on the slide. Steele, you can put your link in the chat as well. We also are doing, as I mentioned, some book information and metadata product discovery around improvements that we want to make there. And Michelle is leading this research. So there's a QR code to book a session with Michelle if metadata is your thing. And then we're also doing some discovery work around micro-credential style learning. Amanda, actually, I should have replaced my name with Amanda Coolidge. Amanda Many of you know Amanda from her life at BC Campus. She left BC Campus last summer, and she is working with us in a number of areas, including our micro-credential work. And so if you're interested in this, if you have folks doing this and would like to be part of a conversation, please reach out and let us know. In terms of webinars, events, we did a couple of great, or co-hosted a couple of great webinars last month. One on navigating accessibility requirements, and another that was an under the hood session with the University of Leeds and OE Global around learning with AI open pedagogy project. That was an interesting OER thing. So the recordings are here. Take a look at those. And then Steele mentioned we have our training webinar series. These are free trainings for end users we do every month. And so this is, excuse me, the training sessions that are planned coming up in January and February. I will note there's some, we've been adding some times that are more friendly for alternate continent time zones. And so those are starting to crop up. Like if your Eastern time zone and 7 to 8 feels really late, that's a better time for some other parts of the world. And so we're trying to thread those in as well. Okay, so and then a couple of upcoming conferences, there are calls for proposals that we thought might be of interest coming up. So we just wanted to call that out. Library Publishing Forum, the Language OER Conference, and then also Northeast OER Summit all have call for proposal deadlines open right now and closing after the holiday break. So keep an eye out and look at those if you are interested. Now we have a few minutes for community roundtable. Were there any, I know there was some dialogue there. Is there any questions in the chat that we should bring up for the group? Okay, Lauren had some questions about, okay, does the last updated correlate directly with the last edited date in the network admin book list? And if a user opens their book in Pressbooks and clicks on organize or other things, does that update the last updated date, or do they have to actually make changes in the book?
So the answer to the first question, I believe, is yes. And the answer to the second question, I believe, is the last updated or last edited date is only incremented if the user edits and saves a revision of some content in the book or the book info, I believe. Mitch may know more definitively than me. That's who I would go to as my canonical source.
All right. So in terms of community roundtable, so Cheryl Casey shared early in the meeting because she was going to have to drop off early about a publication that came out of their network that won some awards. So I want to draw your attention to that. And are there, for the rest of the group, are there questions that you want to put out there for this group or for the Pressbooks team, projects or milestones that you'd like to share?
Oh, Amy, I laughed out loud. You want to say more about that?
Trying to get ready for the new accessibility requirements here after being completely hands off for 10 years. It's been interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm also doing that ahead of the accessibility requirement state, and that's part of why I was asking about last updated, because we are kind of using that as a way to identify books that could be removed from our network. So it's an important distinction to understand. We also don't want people to for us to email them and say, we're going to remove your book from the network. And then they go into Pressbooks, open the book, and then that updates their last edited date as today. So I think I'm kind of interested, Amy, and with others who are doing kind of network management and removing books, and particularly folks who have SSO. I'd love to chat with anybody after this about how they're managing that work.
As a preview, in fact, Lauren and I are working on and a few other people, Kate from this call, are working on a conference proposal for the Library Publishing Forum on this and other similar topics, like how to effectively maintain and manage your network as it grows and do the user management and the book management and the weeding. So these and other thorny topics we'll be covering in Seattle in June if we get accepted.
I have a question. As you're looking at the last updated date, I would imagine you're also consulting the page view. There's a question. There are books that people put out there and publish and don't keep updated, but it or don't necessarily update after they publish, but it may still be something that they teach with or use or reference. How are you kind of balancing that? And but page views may or may not be within your own system, I guess. So it gets tricky.
Yeah, currently we have a lot of private books that haven't been updated in a long time, so we're starting with those. And then we're also looking at books that have been made public that probably the user didn't mean to make public for word count wise, which I think is also a little bit tricky because if you use H5P, that might hide the number of word count. So we're kind of looking at books that are private that haven't been updated in almost 2 years, and then books that are public haven't been updated in 2 years and contain less than a certain number of words. But if others have other kind of measures that they use for identifying books that are good candidates for removal from your network, I'm super interested in hearing that. Yeah, but the public ones are obviously more sensitive, and it's a little tricky because you never know when a private book is soon to be made public, particularly with the accessibility guidelines, wanting to reach people who both have currently public books, but also books that they think they'll be making public sometime in the near future, is a big sticky question.
And can I just show what Lauren was describing? Because I think what Lauren just said is a great idea. If you are a network manager, you have this book list tool right here. Right now, I can see I have 166 books on this network. And so Lauren was saying they're going to start by going, let's look at private books. And you apply this filter, and I can see I have 114 private books. And then I can also go and say, let's look for private books that have less than, I don't know, what do you want to say is the word count? 200 words? And you can see I've got 12 candidates. These are private books that have 46 is the word count when you create an empty book. So these are books that probably have never been edited since they were created. And then I can sort by last edited date and say, all right, see these books haven't been edited in over a year. It's safe for me to deactivate or delete those four. If I really wanted to, I could download this list and I'd have the email addresses and I could email those folks and say, hey, we're weeding our network. We're removing private books that haven't been edited in over a year that have fewer than 200 words, and yours on the list. So let us know in the next month if you don't want us to delete it, or otherwise we'll be deactivating and deleting. And then if I wanted to delete these, I could come down and simply click the delete button and permanently flush them. Or if I wasn't quite sure, I'd say, let's just deactivate it for now. And then I can always reverse a deactivation decision. Like if, oh, in fact, we did want to recover that, we'll deactivate. Is that kind of the essence of what you've been doing, Lauren, or are there other things that you'd want to?
Yeah, so we've kind of been using that book list filter to identify our list of candidates and then planning on sending out an email to all of those folks to warn them that we'll be removing their book from the network by a particular date if we don't hear back from them. Another kind of tricky part of that is that we're getting a lot of, user no longer at the university email bounce back. So then identifying books that have an admin who's left the university, that book has no other users. Do we become the admin? So it's just like, a lot of workflow, but the book filter list definitely really, really helps the process. So appreciate that.
I have a related question. So as you know, TCC, we have part of the OCO network. I see books that I have tried to delete. They're still on my list, but they're like pink or they have like a weird color. And I think that's probably because our OCO network admin needs to go in and actually hit that delete. Is that right?
Yeah. So this is a nice. I don't know if it's a nice quirk, but it's a designed feature of Pressbooks. If I'm an end user, I have an option that lets me delete my book, and I need to go through the confirmation process. And then for the user, they say, oh, your book's been deleted. But the reality is it isn't actually deleted. It's deactivated, which means it's deleted in all but name. And then it's pending the network manager's decision to permanently destroy the deactivated books.
So only a network manager can permanently delete a book. So end users and institutional managers, you can delete a book, but it soft deletes it. It just deactivates it, which means it's invisible to anybody except the network manager and the institutional manager. And only network managers can hard delete. It doesn't super matter from our point of view. We don't count it against your book quota list. It can stay deactivated as long as you want. It's just a safeguard or precaution against. There have been cases where someone said, I've got this public book and I'm done with it. I'm going to delete it. And the network manager's like, whoa, no, no, no. We got other instructors using that. So let's recover and restore that book. It's not permanently deleted just because you're done with it.
That makes sense. Is there like a lag or a drag on the network if we have too many of those hanging out?
It's minor storage space, but they're not getting visits, they're getting page views, they're not getting hits. So there's no real server performance issue. It's just, I mean, storage is cheap and they're usually taking up tiny amounts of storage. So I wouldn't say there's
I
much
won't
of
worry about it then. I'll just pretend I don't see them. Thank you.
that, unless it bothers you, and then you can nag your network manager.
All right, we are at time. This has been a really productive conversation. I want to note the Amy's request about or suggestion about some kind of notification when a book goes from public to private, or sorry, from private to public, so that network managers know there's something going on here if there is a follow-on workflow around metadata or accessibility or whatever. So, Steele, I'm looking at you as our customer experience person to make sure that we're tracking
Yeah,
on that
we have a couple of issues about this, and I'll add the stuff that have been mentioned in the comments here to those threads and issues. In particular, that pre-publication metadata checklist would be great. And we have some ideas about that, but nothing working yet. Especially people pressing publish often have various levels of understanding of what the word metadata even means.
All right. Thank you. Super helpful. We appreciate you being here. We wish you happy holidays and a productive end of your year and a relaxing break, hopefully, for everyone. And we will look forward to reconvening in January. So reach out if there's anything we can do in the meantime. And thanks for your support of Pressbooks.